Hey, you. Listen, thanks for clicking the link to come and look at this video. I want to tell you a little story. So, when I was like 6 or 7, I was in my godmother's bathroom, and she had magazines in there, and one of them was National Geographic. And I looked at it, and I was like, this is really friggin' cool. And the reason I thought it was cool is because I lived way north Alberta, Canada. The nearest town had about 700 people in it, and that was 12 miles away from where I lived. And this was like before the internet, my friends. So like, I was isolated. And even as a 6 or 7 year old, this magazine, these photos in this magazine clicked my brain to realize that there was a world bigger than what I was experiencing. I was a lonely little kid. Some shit was happening. I didn't know how to deal with it. But going over to my godmother's house, it became something that I really looked forward to. Like, I could look at these magazines. I devoured them. And so I eventually vocalized that as I wanted to be a photographer. And I know not all of you wanted to be photographers since you were little, but I'm going to guess that you have always kind of been interested in photography. Your story may be different than mine, but I'm going to guess that there's some parallels. There's interest in making images. And maybe it's the world beyond you, or it's helped you to digest the world. And you enjoy doing that for other people, which is why you're a wedding photographer, or you're a family photographer, or you're doing branding. Photography is powerful, right? And I think I really sensed that power of the greater world. And the shitty thing is that my mom, bless her heart, I love my mom. We've done a lot of work to get to this place where I can freely say that. I told her I wanted to be a photographer, and she said I couldn't, like I wasn't allowed. And her reasoning, which makes sense as a parent, didn't make sense to me as a teenager. Her reasoning was that she saw it as an unsafe occupation. It wasn't safe, right? I would be going to college. I would be the first person in her family or my dad's family to go to university. And she really wanted me to go to university, and I was only aware at the time that you could go to college to be a photographer, like a technician, like not like a fine art photographer. I honestly didn't know that existed. So she said no, and she was holding the purse strings, or at least like my education fund. So I kind of had to listen, right? And that was something that I would learn later, and that you will learn about in Storyteller School, was I needed permission, and she didn't give me permission, so I couldn't do it, right? I got a good job. I became a dietitian after a couple of trials of other things. I became a dietitian, and I fucking hated it. I hated it because I couldn't ignore the call to be a photographer. I couldn't ignore it. It was, after 6 years of school, it was still deeply entrenched in my brain. I still wanted to do it, right? I knew I wasn't doing what I wanted, but I kept going through the motions because I didn't have permission for myself. I didn't think I could give it. That was something that someone else had to tell me that it was okay, that I wanted to do. And I kept thinking that if I maybe could shoot like on the weekends, or I could have this like full-time job in a academic research center, I can like do this on the side, which is a lot, right? And if you're a parent and you have a full-time job and you're working, and you're trying to do this on the side, I feel you. Like, I understand how hard that is to kind of be pulled in these two directions, and maybe three directions if you have a family. How hard it is to give yourself permission to like actually put the time and energy into your photography to make it a viable business, right? So maybe you're someone who's kind of balancing both. They call it doing off the side of your desk. And I did that for a really long time, like a long time. I just probably 10 years I was doing that. And eventually got to the point where I just like blew my life up. I literally blew my life up. I was coincidentally, I was unhappily married. So I got a divorce. And I moved to Nelson. Like I literally, and you don't have to do that. That's not what Storyteller School is about. It's not about making you like take these giant, rash leaps. My mom said it was very rash. But that's how I had to do it. I had to get the F out of there. I had to get out of the world that I had created, right? Or felt I had to create. And so I'm sharing that because to say that you don't have to do that, but you do have to listen to this voice that is telling you that there's something bigger for your business, whether you're working part-time and doing photography or whether you're doing photography full-time and you're not having the income or the lifestyle that you want. So this question kept coming up in my head and I started taking photography workshops. Right? I moved to Nelson to become a photographer, but you know what I ended up doing? I ended up working as a cashier because I had no money, I had nothing, and no work was coming in. And like I just thought that you would just like show up and say what you wanted and it would happen, but that's not what happened. So I was working cashier. My rent was $1,100 and I was making $750 a month. So you can tell I was going into debt really super fast, but I was like, this is why I moved here. This is what I have to do. And so I started taking some workshops and my work got better. I actually, looking back at my work, I was going to show you some images, but maybe we can do that in Storyteller School. But I was making some shit. And then I took some workshops and my work, coincidentally, it got better. And I think that's where we really lean into as photographers. We want to be better and we think that that's going to make our business better. And it doesn't work like that. It can boost you a little bit and it can give you a little bit of confidence to like, be like, okay, yeah, like maybe I can charge a little bit more. But it doesn't actually help you build a sustainable business. Something was still nagging at me. And the reason I was taking those workshops, what I found out was that I wanted people to give me permission to say that I was a good photographer, permission to say that I could have this business, permission that I could actually structure my life around photography. I wanted someone to tell me that it was okay that I wanted this and it was okay if I did it. I'm just reading my notes here because I'm really impassioned about this and I don't want to miss any pieces as I talk to you about this. So what I was missing in all that education that I took was permission. And people were telling me like what was right and wrong. Like they were saying what a good photo was and what a good photo wasn't. They were telling me what was right and wrong about my pricing. They were telling me what was right and wrong about my portfolio. But they weren't giving me permission to make that choice for myself. And that's what's missing in virtually all education is that we have this perspective that if we learn from other people, they're going to tell us that it's okay that we want this, or it's okay that we want to price our work like this, or they'll tell us how to price our work. I don't do that as a coach. I absolutely don't, because it's bullshit. It doesn't work. That is all external validation. And in order for you to be successful, in no matter what you do, whether you stay as a part-time photographer or you become like the full-time photographer that you want to be, and I assume that's why you're here, is because there's something out of sync in how you want your business to go. That has to come from you. That has to come from inside you. It can't come from me or anybody else. So that's why I created Storyteller School, is because in my educational journey, which was at least 10 years long, in photography, not to mention my university degrees, I was looking for someone to say it was okay. I was looking for someone to tell me that I would be okay if I did this. Not only was my work okay, was my business okay, but that I would be okay if I did this. And so I always just didn't quite do it. I didn't quite put the portfolio out there that I wanted it to be. I didn't charge what I wanted to charge. I didn't write the copy on my website the way that I wanted to write it, because I was trying to have other people tell me that what I was doing was okay. And therefore I was playing really, really safe. And my friend, if you're going to live the life that you want to live, you can't play it safe. You don't have to blow up your life, but you do have to get uncomfortable. And that is what Storyteller School helps you do. I help you to get comfortable with being uncomfortable, comfortable with discomfort. Now, I give you permission to design your business to work for you. And now when I say I give you permission, I'm not actually telling you that this is how you do it. I'm giving you permission to believe that your business is going to work out the way you want it to. I help you find permission to make photos in the way that you actually want to make them, not the way that other people say they're good or bad, or in how you would expect other people to want them. I help you create a brand that is wholly and entirely based on you, not a trend, not anything other than what the people who are looking for you will find in you. Because when we hide behind what other people tell us what to do, we miss all the people that are actually looking for us. And I give you permission to market yourself in a way that feels really good. I teach you how to do that because I teach you how to find yourself in your work. And that is what is missing in everyone's work who is struggling with this. The reason that we idolize certain photographers is because they have given themselves permission to be whoever the hell they want. And so then we try to be like them rather than being like us. And there's a lot of shit covering us. And so Storyteller School digs through all of that stuff to find out who you actually are and how you present that in a photograph. So over the course of 12 weeks, you will do 10 video lessons on pricing, on portfolio, on website copy, on SEO, on marketing, on all those nuts and bolts things that you need to know to run a business. But we do it through a filter of finding out who you are. And how do we do that? If you haven't noticed this about me, I am a motivator. That is my that's what's in my astrology. That's what's in my human design. That's I am a motivator, and my superpower is being able to see what people are hiding and helping you to bring that to light. That's why I'm here on this earth. That's why I've gone through all the shit that I've gone through, is so I can create a course like this to help someone like you. And this method works to build profitable, sustainable businesses because it is your authentic self. And how we find that, if you're curious about how that, to get under the hood of what's behind this, is that we spend a great deal of time talking about your values. Your values, and I harp about this in my podcast. I talk about it in all sorts of different forums because it's what's truly missing from our world right now. Your values are innate to you. Your values are derived from your genetics, your life experiences, and your filters through which you put all that stuff. And when you pull your values into your work in this way that I will teach you in Storyteller School, it will be so blatantly obvious to the people who are looking for you that they can't help but find you. And this isn't manipulative. This is pure honesty. This is pure, holy, authentic work. And I'm gonna use that word, even though it feels like a buzzword, because everybody's talking about it. And the reason everybody's talking about it is because nobody's doing it. So authenticity is the basis of Storyteller School, but truly what that authenticity is built on finding what our values are, finding our gift. How I said what my superpower was. You have one as well. And I'm going to guess that you haven't done the work to find it out, because that's why you're here, is because that's what's missing from your business. So when we do all that, then that's how you find that internal permission, that intrinsic motivation, the permission to be who you are. Okay? That's what Storyteller School is actually giving you. And I haven't found a snappy way to like market that. So that's why I made you this video. We're going to dive into the early life experiences that you had, and we're going to dig into the values that have derived from that. And then we find the permission to show that in your marketing and in your photos and in every way that you show up on your website. So you end up with a new website, you end up with a new portfolio, you end up with new copy, you end up with new pricing, but it all comes from this really super genuine, real place that's kind of hiding inside you. So people need you, my friend, in the same way that I think that you maybe need me, and that's why you're here. They need to see you, they need to know you, they need to like you, they need you to photograph in the way that you are meant to do it. And all of that is hidden. All of that we dig out in Storyteller School. So this Storyteller School is the permission that you've been looking for. That's the missing like little thing that like you feel kind of stagnant. It's that you haven't found permission. And Storyteller School gives you the permission that you need to find inside yourself. And I just guide you through it. All right. I hope that helps you to figure out if Storyteller School is right for you. We get rolling on February 18th. That's the welcome call. The first lesson, the first coaching call goes out on November 25th. That's when we all meet together and we talk about the previous week's lesson. After each lesson, you do a little bit of homework, and then you bring that to the coaching call, and we just have a 2-hour long discussion about how it's sitting for you and what to do. And this, because it's discussion based, I'm not sitting here lecturing and teaching you and telling you what's right and wrong. That's how I empower you. That's how I make you understand that what you're doing is right for you. There's no right or wrong. There's only what's right for you. Okay. Please hop on a call with me. If this has convinced you, then go ahead, hop in the cart. But if you're still kind of debating, I can help you figure out. I'm not going to tell you it's right for you if it isn't. So grab a call with me. I'm going to put the link underneath this, and we can chat about it. And I hope to see you in class.